welcome to the Spiritual Counseling TV network and to our extended coffee talk for this week of March 22nd through the 26th of 2023. My name is Christy Ramirez. I'm your soul coach, spiritual influencer, and motivational speaker. So we are here at the beginning of spring, and I'm tapping this particular week just into like the middle to the end of this week, and then next week I will be starting again on Monday. And the reason is because God wanted me to start on the first day of spring, this series, and already I'm feeling such a high vibration that it's overwhelming, but in a good way. But after I took that little break between filming my videos, I actually feel much more grounded and almost like I've been able to center and harness these energies that are coming in for us this spring. And then it's a more focused space that you can work with. Whereas if you're overwhelmed or overstressed or overexcited even, or anxious, it can almost take away from your focus. So it's important to stay centered in all that you're doing this week so then it can come to its fullest and best potential. I also feel like this week we are definitely focusing on seeing things from a more light-hearted standpoint. Metaphorically, we'll be spending more time in the light. And a lot of you, are in the light most of the time, right? Like a lot of people I know, whether or not you're a light worker, but I know that a lot of people on a regular basis, it's really out of the norm for people to have like a night schedule. Only if you have like an abnormal job, like being a nurse or a firefighter. Usually when you have like all-nighters, when you have night jobs, even like scheduling. And a lot of people, whether or not, wherever we've been, whether we are like when it comes to the world, like whatever time we're at, whatever we're dealing with collectively, everyone has been going about their regular schedule, right? Like waking up 6 a.m., going to bed by 6 p.m., and then going all over again, right? And it's almost like a lot of the humanity and the collective have been in this same whirlwind, same cycle, same hamster wheel. And it's only been a few of us who have been taken out of that routine and hamster wheel, where it's probably been very loud, and it's almost like the channeling has been clogged, is what the word that I got the other day. Like, it's clogged when there's just so many vibrations that are competing for attention that it's almost like you can't see clearly, right? So a lot of people, like myself, because I do this work, and since I've started to do this work, I've been doing things different as divinely guided, and my schedule has been like really all over the place since like I started my business. I can say truly, because when I started in 2019, I remember that half last of the year when I started in August, and then like all the way till like November, when I was doing a lot of projects, I was staying up at night, almost like a crazy obsessive genius, writing books, channeling presentations, all the things that I'm now using later on. And I've been like redoing a lot of these things, but it's been written in stone since I started my business. So it's almost like it was prophesized from the beginning, although it wasn't 100% understood, but it was there, right? Like the blueprint, the idea, the inspiration was there. And it's only when you're in this quiet stillness that you can really clearly channel and listen, when you're around nobody, when it's only you and your energy and God. Because during those times is when actually I stopped going out to social events. I stopped hanging out in my community. I was a very community-oriented person all my life, with sports, with activities. I basically lived in my car, basically. I want to say, like, before my business in 2019, I was always out there, and I didn't really have like a cozy relationship with my home, which is, I guess, what was missing from my life, and then also hence my spiritual journey, because that's a lot of where the spiritual awakening happens, right? It's like when you're in your sanctuary. And that didn't still happen though. Like my sanctuary more like got really upgraded in like 2021, but in 2019 and 2020 I was like a little baby still on the spiritual journey, and I was channeling a lot of my work. I was staying up all night. I was alone a lot of the times as well throughout the day doing my work. And it's almost like I'm almost like getting memories back from that moment. And I feel like this spring is a reason for that, because it's almost like now we're going to be able to bring those ideas into fruition in this new cycle. And that's so important, because it's finally when then we're going to be able to close this chapter and then maybe start a new one later down the road. Maybe things that you channeled after as well, because there were things that I also channeled like 1 year later in the end of 2020, alongside still doing my business, alongside still having a job, right? Like, which was having my clients on my side, has been my job since. And then I was channeling like other projects all of the mid 2020, and then that's when my life got really busy, because I was overworking, doing a lot of things. But again, remembering that this is temporary, right? You never go through phases like this for like a whole year, because that would just be too much on our energetic body, right? God will give us breaks. And eventually, you know, I did get a break, and then these ideas got more exemplified in 2021 when everything was more clear. And then when it came to like the things that I channeled in 2019 for my business, it's getting at its perfection now, where I'm finally doing things to completion as like the finale. And it's almost been like we've been through a lot of practice already. We've been through a lot of rehearsals, right? And this can also be applicable to your daily personal life as well. Not only to like your projects, but also personal life, like relationships, when it comes to love. I feel like we've all been under a lot of practice mode. And again, like I've been saying, you know, these past years have been all like karmic. And what I mean by that, and again, this doesn't apply to everybody, because a lot of people have relationships that have been like long marriages, like 10 plus years. That doesn't apply to you. I'm talking to people who, you know, are more like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and then maybe their 20s as well, I can say, but although they're still very young. But a lot of people in their 20s are actually very awakened and advanced on their journey. So again, age is just a number, right? Because I see people from all walks of life and at all maturity levels. There can be people at 50 that you won't believe it, but are very immature, or just very unawakened, or still children, right, in their hearts. But, and again, doesn't make them bad or good people, but it's just that, you know, on the spiritual journey, it's a different thing, and it's a different kind of evolution of it, and where you can really have these deep conversations with one another. So where I'm getting at with this energy, articulating it in as less words I can, but it is going to be like a long talk, so just chill with me here with your coffee and stuff, or whatever you're doing, whatever thing you're doing, because I feel like this is an imperative week. This is a week where we're being given not even second chances, but it's just like, it's like it's like the final test. It's the graduation point that we are reaching for, right? It's like we are wanting to graduate by the end of this year, and this is the spring and the summer that's going to really take us to the next level. And then by the end of this year, we're going to be able to at least complete a big chapter of our life. And I'm not talking about little short-term goals. I'm talking like a big dream, a big goal that might lead to like a big dream. So I feel like since 2020, because I feel like in 2019 we got like opportunities, you know, because it was before the pandemic as well. I actually got a big opportunity in 2019 that was like a big boost of confidence for my career and my motivational speaking aspect of what I offer and services. I got booked for a great spiritual not a spiritual event. I got booked for a speech, to do a motivational speech for like a huge company, without even being known, without even having experience. And I was just completely shocked, because it was almost like a golden opportunity, and I even got paid for it, like a lot of dollars, I want to say, like over 100. And it was just a great opportunity for me. But then like the pandemic happened the following year, and it's almost like everything got shut down and all opportunities got closed. It's almost like I got unremembered from that event, and like just nothing happened, right? And then we were doing just more internal work, and then that's where I started to incorporate more of the spiritual, because I wasn't really incorporating too much of the spiritual yet. It was just more just motivational speaking. It was like, think Tony Robbins, right? It was just like speeching. It was just motivation. It was just kind of like coaching, but it wasn't really in relation to spiritual counseling like what I do now, which is like a whole new level of soul coaching and psychology and just guidance helping, right? And now I've been through like this whole learning journey of 3 years on my own as well. And I've come out of it now into the light. I feel like a new person today for some reason. I feel like it's just completely new beginning, but I feel like a huge rebirth as well. And so it's almost like now these opportunities are going to come this year. It's a long time waiting that we've been waiting. We've been through a lot of rehearsals, through a lot of time of trial and error as well. And I feel like finally we're going to be given something to keep going, because I feel like a lot of us has been wanting to give up, and God is not wanting us to give up. If we're going to be given opportunities this year, it's because God wants us to keep going. Now, if you don't get any opportunities, if you don't really see any fruition for what you're doing, then it might be just like that green light by the end of this year. Give it to the end of this year. If nothing happens, then it's definitely the green light to move on to maybe the next project that you have planned, because it's always good to have plan Bs, right? And I know that, a lot of us, I'm a person that always has a plan A. And all of what I do, because eventually everything that I've planned and projected into my vision board and the blueprints and what I've planned out is all a part of my plan A. But if some aspects to my plan A don't work, I have like a plan B within the plan A you want to see, right? So it's almost like if something doesn't work out, it's just because there's a better way to do it, or something better is there for you. And remember, rejection doesn't mean that you're not good at it. Rejection doesn't mean that you're not for it, or that you're not meant to do it. Rejection just means that it's protection, and that maybe there's a better option for you, or for whatever it is that you're doing, to be able to have this platform for you to express your gifts and share it with the world. Because God would never give you a gift if you didn't want to share it, right? And if you don't share your gifts, and if you're not sharing your gifts, then this is a sign for you to start sharing your gifts, because every single gift that you've been given is to inspire others, especially if you're a light worker, an earth angel here to do work. This is why we have it, all these gifts, is to be able to put it into something beautiful, this oneness, and manifest it into this beautiful energetic vortex that people are going to want to follow. And they're going to be following the light. They're going to be following in Christ's footsteps, right? Because we're all guided by Christ. We're all guided by God, by angels. And when we are exciting enough, when we are trendy even, when we are like the hot thing, right, in the mainstream, this is a good thing, because there's a lot of mainstream hotness, or like mainstream, I guess, celebrities that are not all of light. Only a couple, a few. And God is wanting to put more of the light into the celebrity forefront. Celebrity status, right? Metaphorically or maybe literally for some of us. But God is really wanting to upgrade us, because this light needs to be heard, needs to be seen. And whatever fakeness or falsity is out there is gonna be known, and the truth is gonna be come out, and the real people, I guess, the real light workers, the realness is gonna be revealed. And this is good, because this is progress in the right direction for this golden era and this new earth that we are all working on together collectively, and what God has working on behind the scenes as well, right? And us light workers have been in on this plan in secret, behind the scenes, and we're all already also seeing in secret a lot what's ahead, and we're preparing. Although a lot of things are not yet ready to be revealed, there are some things that are, and we're showing one thing at a time, so that people can start to join this crew, this group, this community, this tribe is the word, this soul tribe of light that has just been kept in secret for so long. And it's interesting that, yes, let's talk about this topic. I had an interesting topic about, the spirituality now being trendy as well, but needing also to still also be discerning about that. I said in my weekly intuitive that I met this woman in one spiritual event, and she agreed with me with what my thoughts were about where the spiritual community is going, the spiritual people who are awakening, and what the mainstream media is also being exposed to when it comes to spirituality. And I feel that, there is still a strong need for light workers to know how to protect their energy, know how to be discerning onto what to let in, what to believe as truth, and what to follow. Because when you follow, when you listen, when you immerse yourself in whatever energy that you think is of light or is of spirituality, then you eventually become that, right? And you start to become attached energetically to that chord, to that vibration. And if you're not yet wise enough, or spiritually trained is the word, which is what a lot of us light workers have been initiated into, is like the spiritual training about being more spiritually mature and wise when it comes to the journey, the people that you associate with, the people that you resonate with, the people that you allow into your aura, into your life, into your personal space, right? Especially then people you get into relationships with. All of this is especially important to light workers more than anybody else, because we're more highly sensitive, empathic beings. And it's very easy for anybody who is new on the spiritual journey. So if any of you are new out there, please listen to this message and take a look at my School of Light, A Course in Miracles series. Is going to really help you fortify through living through your ego, fortifying you living through your higher self, so that you may let go of living through your ego, because a lot of that is people living through their ego. And there's even there's even such a thing as a spiritual ego, and then also the ego coming out in the spiritual community. So don't think that just because a person labels themselves as spiritual, or they're doing some kind of spiritual work, you need to 100% blindly believe in everything they're saying. Because at the end of the day, what God showed me is that at the end of the day, all of us doing the work are still humans. We're all human beings, and we have imperfections, no matter if we're doing the spiritual work. And the only time that we're in this perfect state is when we're channeling. Like right now, I consider myself in this channeling mode. I've spiritually cleansed. I'm in spiritual alignment. I've been in my purity. Again, remembering that being in a pure space is where you will spiritually channel more pure and efficient and effective, and always having your light beings around you. And then that's only when you can trust, right? But again, coming to that, that's the only time when we're in this pure space, which is why, you know, being a master channel, when I'm in this energy, when I am channeling with my clients, when I am helping them, giving them spiritual guidance, and I've always had this gift. I remember even when I was doing psychology work and having these counseling jobs before I was really spiritually awakened, you can say all my 20s, I was always just channeling God to these people, because I didn't even know exactly where all this information was coming from. I wasn't really good at the book smart part of psychology. I used to actually, I wasn't doing really well on my license exam even. Something that I struggle with, to be honest, but I am working on that, because that's just like a different thing, right? It's just really irrelevant to your knowledge of psychology. But when it comes to like the book smart of psychology, I don't want to say I haven't ever been an expert. I'm more of an intuitive psychologist. I am more of an intuitive counselor, and proof, because when I used to help my clients and they used to love me, they used to always, especially children, it's almost like they would always say like just they loved my energy, just being around me. And I would just have no idea why. Like I was just like, why? Like I'm just here, I'm just kind of just not really doing much, just saying what I feel, right? And now I get it, because you know, a lot of when I was educating them or giving them this positive inspiration, it was just mostly coming from my angels. And a lot of you, when you're doing creative work and when you're doing things that you love, when you're channeling divine spirit, that's how you feel. You feel almost like in this euphoric vibe that is just very high vibrational, and it's almost like you want to do more of it because it's just such a high vibration. But when you come back into your body, and then when you come back to doing normal human things, normal things like on earth, it's almost like you feel a little bit of a lower vibration, although it's not low vibe, but it's almost like you don't feel this heavenly vibe. So it's like it's like different than if you were like in a low vibe and then you go to feeling like a medium vibe. that feels like an improvement, right? But when you're in the ultimate high, so when you go from like from paradiso to purgatory, you feel a degrade, right? You feel like a descent. And that descent is what a lot of us light workers deal with on a daily basis when we get back to the real world. It's not a very good feeling, because when you're high in the best of the best in heaven, and then you go back to the world and then go about like your personal life, your personal goals, I feel like a lot of us light workers, at least myself, are still working on having this balance and not forgetting who we are as a human self. Because doing the spiritual work, we're doing the spiritual work, we're channeling angels, but it's not us completely, right? It's not like our personality per se is coming out 100%, although I do bring out my personality, of course, when I do my videos and when I'm speaking to you all from experience, like in this coffee talk, which is a little more personal, intimate talk right now. That's when I'm explaining to you my experience. So that's almost like where a lot of us can benefit this week if you want to seek this guidance to help you if you're dealing with the struggle. Start to work on more of your personal life and then balancing this out and seeing that shift in energy as a positive thing, as a gift, right? Not as a lower energy, but as a gift to have seen heaven, to have felt heavenly energies. And then when you're going about your day-to-day life, try to bring more of that heavenly energy into your day-to-day life. That's a good guidance for us, because it is possible to bring that energy and then shift our experience in the day-to-day. And then maybe that can change and shift our experience when we go out into the world, right? So this is like an intuitive counseling session right now, because what I'm feeling is that that's part of the challenge. That's part of the homework as well. As light workers, and to be able to be embodiments of Christ and walk with Christ and walk as Christ in the world, it's about bringing that energy into our human life as well. And I know initially it can be hard, because what the ego can be very subtle. It can be as simple as getting in a bad mood, or as simple as something getting to you, or as simple as just getting frustrated with yourself or getting impatient because something didn't go the way you expected or wanted to, right? It's as simple things as that. That is where the ego creeps in. And as we're learning in A Course in Miracles, when we can live through our higher self in the world amidst society who is conditioned, and we are unconditioned coming back into the conditioned world, it can be a little intimidating at first, because it's almost like the majority is the conditioned and the unmajority is us light workers in the heavenly realms, in the light. And it's almost like you can be very vulnerable to getting tempted back into the conditioned world, which you don't want to be tempted. You want to be strong, which is why we're developing into becoming warriors, so that eventually we can be strong enough influencers that in a room full of conditioned beings, we can be the influencer and strong enough to stand in our truth, that we catch those people's attention. And they want to know what we're doing, and then they want to know more about the journey. That's what we're preparing for. And if we're not strong enough for that position and situation to happen, then we're going to continue to be trained behind the scenes, because it's a very difficult, and if you know, at least I felt what it felt like to not be ready and step out in there. And it wasn't a good feeling, because it's almost like you get thrown back to like the lowest of vibes. It's almost like you go back 10 steps from all the high vibrational work you've been doing, and it's just not a good feeling, you know. So personally, I can tell you I've dealt with this, and then that's why I just came back to like my little shell, you can say. And then God guided me, and my angels told me that it was safer and just safe to do it this way, and there's nothing to be afraid of, because it's not going to be forever, right? You know, sometimes when we're doing a lot of hermit work, it's because we're building great things behind the scenes. A lot of great artists had this phase in their lives, and that's not a bad thing. It's a gift from God to be extracted and to be chosen from the majority to do this. It's something of an honor, and we need to see it this way, right? Not to be seen as we're sacrificing something, or to be seen like we're missing out on something, because trust me, you're not. You're not missing out on anything with the example that I just told you, right? The majority of the world right now is in this situation, conditioned, lost, oblivious to what's happening spiritually, and not a lot of great behaviors around, right? So as spiritual influencers, we need to be cautious and knowing and aware of this already, and be strong enough. So we're really getting stronger this week, but this is what this new cycle is about, starting this April, building up our strength, not only physically, but more spiritually, because spiritually is the most deepest of our etheric body, right? Because then we have our emotional body, then our mental body, and then our physical body at the most exterior. That's irrelevant to what's really happening inside. You can be strong outside, but then spiritually be weak on the inside, and then fall victim and fall into temptations, and then fall into sin. And then that's the kind of root of all evil that we have been learning about in A Course in Miracles, where we need to be strong inside. And then everything will fall into place, and you will be living your dream. You will be living your abundance. You will be living heaven on earth. And that's like the beautiful energy of this week that I'm feeling. It's a very strong and powerful message, which is why I also was guided to this winter season to kind of take a break from the series, because I felt like the energy was even stronger and more potent in like a very just like draining way. So if you're channeling that energy, it can take away from your energy as well. So I feel like the energy's lighter now, which I feel like why God is giving the green light, opening those doors, giving us the yes. And we're going to be experiencing excitement because of this. Alright, so the next theme that I'm getting for this week is that of manifestation. Manifestation is basically alchemizing what you want out of life, right? Think of alchemy. Alchemy is making a rock into gold, is putting two minerals together and building a healing elixir, right? How can you be the alchemist of your life? By thinking about what you need to do to get to where you want to get. And a lot of us have big dreams. A lot of us have been given tasks by God to make things happen, to get ourselves out there, make the mission known, right? How can we do this if we were given all the power in the world, if we were given all the resources that we needed? What can we do with those tools? What can we do to make God proud? What can we do for ourselves? And how do we believe in this process? This is an important part of the manifestation. You need to believe in what you're doing, and you need to believe that the action steps you're taking is going to take you to where you need to get, which is your achievements, your goals. And I feel like a lot of us have been given the deadline of the end of this year, because there's a new cycle in the next year, in 2024. So the goals that we've been given this year, we need to get on it, because I feel like time's running out. We're already in March, end of March already. A quarter of the month is flying by. A quarter of the year is flying by. And we're in spring already. So we only have like 3 more seasons left. And I want to say 2 seasons, because a lot of these fruitions are going to happen at the end of fall. So right before winter, because winter is like a whole new energy I'm receiving. Again, winter's like an energy of its own, right? So I feel like the real end goals of this year are like the end of fall. That's like our deadline to do what we need to do, the projects for this year, make things happen, make the connections that we need, get ourselves out there, whatever it is that you need to do, you will be guided. And I feel like we need more courage to step outside our comfort zone, let go of any fears holding us back, but then also make space in your life for what you want, right? Whatever that may be, that's up to you to discern. Now let's get into a little oracle reading to get deeper into today's energies for this week. Alright, this is my spiritual guidance oracle cards that I created, and I love to use these cards for extra spiritual wisdom, insight into the energies, into the spiritual realm, into heaven. Again, we got the same messages from Monday, be you, so definitely a message. Alright, so this week's message: to regain your vitality, focus on health and wellness. Again, definitely is a huge message that has been repetitive throughout this week, but it's definitely needed because in order to make our dreams come true, we need to be healthy, we need to be strong, we need to be well, we need to have energy. Dream the impossible because they are possible. Seek the unknown and achieve greatness. And this is the wonderful message. You can be happy now. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, or you feel like maybe you feel that you can't be happy yet because you're not at a place where you want to be happy now, because I promise you that in the future you're going to look back to this moment and you're going to see that this was a great moment in your life, and you're never going to be able to come back to this, right? So think about this and really appreciate where you're at. And if you're in solitude, appreciate the solitude, because once you're in a relationship, once you're in a marriage, you're not going to be able to go back to being single, right? And although, in our single time, we appreciate that independent passions that we have, our own separate life, that's part of the singlehood, that's part of the lessons that we learn when we're single, because when you marry, it's for life, right? You're not going to be getting divorces and getting married again. That's my belief. So if you're going to do it forever. So enjoy where you're at now and make the most of it. There's a precious gift in every phase of your life. Being single is a gift. Don't ever think that it's a time that you don't have enough, because I see a lot of people that they just rush in relationships because they think they need to be in a relationship, and that's definitely not the case. There is no rush for love. Love will be there when you're ready. Love will wait, and love will help you grow as well. So trust in this. And yes, believe in your beauty. Know that you're beautiful. And this is beautiful messages for this week. Oh, alright. Our affirmations for this week, extra beautiful messages for us. We got this card before. I am miraculous as I can heal myself and others through affirming my abilities with my creator God. So definitely double confirmation, but definitely check out my A Course in Miracles series. Listen through it throughout the week. Make yourself a little 30-day challenge and listen to one episode a day. And I promise you it's going to change your life. Like, I've read that book so many times already that every time I read it, it's just like a completely new experience, transformation, evolution, all in one. And I promise you it's going to really, really shift your frequency. I am consistent, persistent, and patient. In the meantime, I work hard, I have faith, and I trust the process. So wherever you're at right now, be patient with where you're at. And I feel like we are shifting our schedule this week as well. With spring, we have daylight savings time, so we have more daylight now. It gets darker later during the day. Like for me, it gets dark at 7:30 p.m. and the sun comes up at 7:30 a.m. So it's like a pretty long daylight day. So I'm being guided to enjoy the daylight again, spend more time in the daylight, and as soon as it gets dark, start my night routine. Like I've been given a whole new night routine that I've been working on this past couple days, and it's just like a game changer for getting restful sleep. And I've also been given a new morning routine as well, kind of shifting it around. For example, like I used to always meditate first thing in the morning, do my full hour meditation, my yoga stretch, and now I'm being guided to do that more in the evening, I feel, or maybe even at night, like before I go to bed, because it's a great unwinding activity. And then as soon as it gets to daylight, start to get to work, maybe get ready for work is what I did this morning actually. And that was like my meditation. Catch up on like videos, on podcasts, more active movement, like more things that are brain active, right? Versus so sedative, right? Because meditation can be kind of sedative in a way. It can get you kind of too relaxed and then maybe not get as much done as you would. So how can you change around your routine? And then every cell in my body vibrates with energy and health. My mind is brilliant, my body is healthy, and my soul is tranquil. Beautiful message. And last but certainly not least, I am grateful for the healing that is taking place in my body. I am healthy in my body, mind, and soul. Such a beautiful day today, I promise you. Like the perfect day to be here. And I have like a great view of the sky. I love my window because it's huge and I can see everything. I have a little bit of like my garden, I have the ocean in the back, I have the sky. It's like perfect. Alright, so let's get an angel message for this week. We have Archangel Raziel. Thank you for guiding my spiritual understanding to a place of knowingness and wisdom. Love your divine child. So we're definitely being heightened with wisdom, more knowledge, through spiritual understanding. We get this through books, spiritual books, right? Definitely check out my spiritual book club reading list at christianmerz.com/school and start to give yourself time to read books as well. That's what I've been doing, part of my night routine, giving myself like 30 minutes or so to read books. I already finished one book on my list. Now I'm on to the next book, and I'm just going to continue this little routine of mine because there's so many books that I want to read by other people that are actually helping me to grow also on my spiritual journey and just enrich my knowledge. So I definitely recommend that. Or you can listen also to my audio teaching classes at the Spiritual Book Club and just put on the episode and start to listen and maybe read along with me with your book, which I highly recommend. Take notes because it's very in-depth. It's like it's a book that you really need to be alert, highlight, write notes, etc. Alright, dear Archangel Jophiel, thank you for beautifying me and finding me the perfect wardrobe to wear today. Thank you for my beautiful hair and makeup. Thank you for helping me to always know that I am beautiful no matter what and that I am loved from above. Thank you for helping me to radiate positive vibrations and beauty from the inside out. Love your divine child. So again, Archangel Jophiel is going to help us get ready to show up as our best, feel our best, both when we're doing the mission and then also for our personal life. Because everything deserves our best attention, right? And presence. Okay, thank you, Archangel Barakiel, for protecting me from this hailstorm. So whatever hailstorm anybody's dealing with, God is protecting us from them and from whatever place as well. Thank you for always shielding my energy field and keeping me in the light. Please give me the strength to carry on no matter what, right? Love your divine child. So we are being divinely protected. So just go with it. Go with it and trust and just be excited about your life. And I feel like that's where we're going to end today's coffee talk. I actually want to get started with reading A Course in Miracles now after like just a little break. And definitely check out that series. Again, be a member at christianmerz.com/school. Also join the Spiritual Counseling TV network for exclusive events, therapy sessions, motivational speeches, extra women's content as well, all exclusive TV shows, christianmerz.com/TV. And if you want to book a personal soul coaching session with me, spiritual counseling, spiritual guidance, angelic guidance or reading, make sure that you book at christianmerz.com/booking. We can get started with our session right away. Have an amazing and beautiful week, and I'll see you all for next week. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for content that's being premiered every week. And as a little gift to all of you guys, I am premiering 10 minutes to like 20-30 minutes sometimes, basically a quarter of the session of my A Course in Miracles series. So every chapter has a little preview on my YouTube channel, so you get to see a little preview of every single class. You don't want to miss out on that. And I do that for all my spiritual book club gatherings and all my classes, because I really want to show you what a little piece of what the information is going to be about, and motivate you to definitely join and watch the whole entire episode and class, because it's just so much knowledge. It's so amazing. So thank you, and I'll see you all next week. Namaste.